Oh, guys, I can't believe I'm about to share this news with you. But I have bought a second investment property. That makes 2 houses in 2 years. I bought my first investment property last year, July, and I've just bought the second one. And it's insane when I think about it because I'm fairly new in the UK. I'm just 3.5 years in the UK and I've been able to achieve these goals. Anyways, this video is just to share a few things about how I was able to achieve this goal because, again, like I said, it's insane when I think about it. So let's get straight into it. Now, I think the first thing that we have to get clear is that owning an investment property was a goal of mine. So even though it didn't start as a goal, I really got into property because I was looking for where to park my money. Now, when I was in Nigeria, I just used to save my money in a high interest yielding account. So in the form of like fixed deposit account, and I could get between 12 to 15% interest rate on my savings. And I was fine with that. But moving to the UK, I can't tell you how ridiculous the interest on savings was. It was ridiculous, but it also made sense because the interest rate on borrowing is quite low compared to the double-digit interest rate that you would also borrow at in a place like Nigeria. So it sort of made sense. And I was just simply looking for where I could park my money. And that was when I started to research in real estate investment and all of that. But regardless of whether or not it's a goal of mine, as I would imagine it's a goal for a lot of people, but there was a method to which I was able to achieve this. So the first thing I would say is that with the first house, I had a little bit of money left from my savings from Nigeria. And I was also fortunate enough to get a job here in the UK that allowed me to just save a little bit more in order to be able to come up with the deposit and all of the funds that I needed to buy the first property. So it was largely between my savings from Nigeria and a bit of savings from my salary here in the UK. And for the second property, it's largely from my salary as well that I was able to save this. So I would say, the fact that I'm fortunate enough to earn a certain amount and also not have too many responsibilities or outgoings that allowed me to save more helped me to achieve this goal. And that is number one, my income and my residual savings. The second thing that helped me, I would say, is I really deprived myself in the last 3.5 years. I'm not gonna lie. I have deprived myself of a lot of things. I basically, have been practicing delayed gratification. I knew that, the moment I decided that I wanted to buy properties, I had a goal for myself. But at the same time, I knew that it was gonna cost me. And it did cost me potential lifestyle that I could have had. It did cost me, opportunities to travel. It did cost me a lot. So I have almost like lived a secluded life where I knew that I could manage my money and save up as much as I could in order to be able to do this. So that's the second thing. So the third thing was, obviously because I'm working a 9 to 5 and I'm earning a certain amount, I had an idea of how much I could save conveniently, or let me not say conveniently, if I practiced delayed gratification. There's only so much I can save. My rent still needs to go out, all of my living expenses still needs to be paid. And I still need to survive. So I knew that I had a certain amount that I felt like I could save every year. And because I had an idea of that amount, I knew that, investing in a place like London and raising 25% deposit on an investment property was not going to be it. So what I did was I invested in an affordable city. So anyone that has been following my channel would know that I've been investing in Liverpool, and that is also where my second property is. So I have been buying properties that are less than £120,000, and that's the amount that I felt like, conveniently I could save both the deposit, stamp duty, and whatever money that I needed to, do it up, within a short amount of time. So that's another thing that I did. I'm not investing in London, at least not for now. I invested in a city far away but affordable that could still also help me achieve my goal. The other thing I did was that I leveraged other people's money, and I did borrow money from friends to sort out some other things in my life so that I could save my salary to invest in property. So that's one of the things that I did. And that's one thing that I feel like a lot of people don't like to do is, and it doesn't have to be friends, it could be a bank that, you borrow money to do something else so that you can use your regular income towards another goal. And the reason I'll probably say I did that is when you're investing in property, they want to see track record of how you're saving your money. So it wouldn't make sense for me to borrow money to, say I want to add it to the deposit because it just won't work. So I would rather borrow money to do some other things that I know doesn't really matter, right? So that I can have a clean track record on my savings towards my deposit, which is more important to me. I know that as Africans, and especially as Nigerians, we don't like to borrow money. But for me, I'm like, there's certain things that I want to do in a short amount of time, and this is how I think I can do it. And that's one of the things that I did. I would say maybe the other thing that helped me as well is that I've kept my strategy with property investing fairly simple. I haven't done any of the super creative strategies that a lot of property gurus are selling online. So things around doing a buy, refurbish, refinance strategy where you buy a rundown property, you do the refurb, so almost like you're redoing the entire property. You add value to it by creating additional rooms or additional spaces or additional bathroom. So you force the value of the property to go up, and then you can refinance, pull out your money, and then move on to another property, right? So basically you're recycling your money. Now, while that makes sense, it requires a lot more capital than if you were just buying a property that doesn't require a bit too much work. Now, you could also still be in a situation where, even if the property doesn't require too much work, you could do a few things to it within your limited budget and still add value to it. But I have just decided to buy properties that don't need too much, and it's not going to take me maybe more than, a few weeks, maybe 2 to 3 weeks to get it ready and put it on the market. So I have not done any of the creative strategies that would stress me. So within what I feel like what my capacity is as a, solo property investor, I'm doing it by myself. And I've also been doing a lot of DIY for my refurb. I have just kept it simple, and that has made property investing a bit more achievable for me. I would say the other thing is I educated myself a lot. If you open my YouTube channel or my TikTok and you look at my timeline, all you'll see is properties. I have watched way too many videos. I did go for some property trainings and all of that. But to be honest, like, I have learned more from doing myself than any of the trainings that I've gone for. And this is not a shade to any company that is doing, property investment training. It's just how I have learned. And most of the information are there for you online anyways. So educate yourself. Every property is different. Every city is different. Like, yeah, there will be basic principles. But at the end of the day, like, educate yourself as much as possible. Not just in how to buy the properties, what to do when you're viewing properties, what strategy, like what's the end goal when you buy the property? Do you want to let it out to a single family? Do you want to do Airbnb? Do you want to do HMO? Those are like information that you want to learn about. Every other thing you will learn along the journey. I promise you that. Like, you can't miss it. So I educated myself a lot, by leveraging a lot of videos, doing trainings. And I also have to give a shout out to my mortgage broker, who also was a huge support. When I was a complete newbie last year, she gave me so much information. Like, anytime I was stuck or working with a solicitor that was using a lot of jargons, or somebody was asking me something and I didn't know what it was about, I would just simply go to her. I would call her. I'm like, hey, you know what? They just asked me this. Like, what is this about? And, she would explain to me. So that really helped as well. So those are some of like the sort of like places that I got educated in property investing. And again, like with the first property, I did learn a lot. And I was able to apply a lot of those lessons into buying the second one. That is not to say that I didn't make a mistake on buying the second one. Probably discuss a lot more about like maybe mistakes that I've made in property investing in other videos. But it was important for me to educate myself and feel a bit more confident about what I was doing, because I can't lie to you, this are huge investments. Like I said, I've deprived myself, I've saved all of this money, and yeah. It's very important that I know a bit of what I'm doing before committing, to that. The last thing I would say, if I have to be totally honest, is the fact that I was open to losing money and making mistakes. A lot of us are not doing like investment. We're not even investing. Let's not even talk about doing a huge investment like property investing. A lot of us are not investing because we don't want to lose money. So we'd rather be looking at our, £1,000 in our account and like to see it as £1,000 instead of investing it into something. I was open to losing money and making mistakes. And I think that mindset is one of the reasons that I've been able to do the things that I've been able to do. I've done this mostly by myself, like I said, and being open to making mistakes and just saying, hey, what's the worst that will happen? Hey, I lose this money here, or, I lose a couple of thousands there. But the fact that I own an asset, I can't completely lose out, especially if my goal is to hold on to the asset for, a while. And I can say, right now that the property I bought last year has appreciated, maybe not a whole lot, but it has appreciated. And whatever money that I lost doing the refurb or maybe making some mistakes along the way, I've started to close the gap now. And that makes a whole lot of difference, that I'm not waiting till like everything is perfect. Speaking of, losing money, was that because of my circumstance, especially when I bought the first property, I was a first-time landlord on a visa in the UK, trying to buy an investment property in a limited company, and a lot of lenders did not like clients with a profile like mine. So I had to go with a specialist lender, which meant that my interest rate was extremely high. in a market where, yes, people have said that the interest rate is high, is now high, but imagine your interest rate being higher than normal because of your circumstance. But I was open to that idea of saying, this is going to be a temporary discomfort, and in the long run, it's going to pay off. Now, I did a 2-year initial term on the mortgage, which is going to end next year, right? It means that now that my circumstance has changed, I stand a better chance of getting a remortgage with maybe a high street lender at a lower interest rate. So it's a temporary discomfort for a 2-year period, but I'm going to come out of it. And having that mindset of, hey, everything may not align now, things may not be the ideal now. Property prices last year were much lower than this year. So in a way, it's sort of made up for itself, so to speak. I think that's about it. If I think of anything else, I will add maybe in other videos. But these are, the things that actually has helped me to achieve, this goal of owning 2 investment properties in 2 years. And I'm really thankful for the opportunity to be able to do that. I will be taking you on a tour of the house, possibly in my next video. So please watch this space. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please make sure you like, subscribe, and share. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.